Well, hi folks, and welcome back to my channel. This is going to be part 2 of the tutorial showing you how I created my cover version of Our Friends Electric by Gary Newman, the recent version that I put up. Not the one that I did 4 years ago. It's a little bit different to that one, let's say. So in the first video, first part of this video, I showed you how I created sequences 1 and 2. And in this one I'm going to show you how I created sequences 3 and 4 on the Roland JDXI. So without further ado, let's get cracking. We'll just turn that one down there. So sequences 3 and 4, let's just load them up for you. So this is sequence number 3, if we can hear it. So this is playing sequence number 3, and then that runs straight into sequence 4. So they just keep repeating over and over again. So we'll look at sequence 3 to start with. And then once we've done that, I'll show you how I added some extra instruments, extra layers on top of it on the final production. So first of all, let's look at the drums. So we just isolate the drums for you and play them. It's quite a cool drum pattern, I think. So we're using the same kit as obviously on the first two. So it's the 707 and 727 kit 1 that we're using, and the drums that we've got selected are exactly the same as before. Just going to sort my notes. We've got the bass drum on positions 1, 3, 9, 11 on sequence number on measure number 1, and on measure number 2 it's exactly the same, 1, 3, 9 and 11 for the bass drum. We've got snare drum 2, and snare drum 2 appears on positions 5 and 13 in measure 1 and 5 and 13 in measure 2. We've then got the partial hi-hat. Partial hi-hat only appears in measure 1, so that appears on 7 and 15 in measure 1. We've then got the closed hi-hat. Now in measure 1 it's on positions 1, 2, 3 and 4, 9, 10, 11 and 12, and then in measured number 2 it's on 1 through to 14. And yeah, don't forget, I will put all this information, I'll write it down in the video description, so you don't need to write notes down, just look at the description of the video and you'll see all this information in there. So that's that. The final drum sound that we've got on here is the one called Perc 2, and on measure number 1 it's on position 7 and 15, on measure number 2 it's on 7, 15 and 16. So if I just wind them all down, and then we'll just bring them in one at a time and let you hear them, hear it all build up. Don't know, I'll put that cowbell in there. Doesn't have a cowbell in there, honestly. Right, so let's have a listen. So we bring the bass drum in to start with. Snare drum 2. Partial hi-hat. Closed hi-hat. Percussion 2. Okay, so that's the drum pattern. So the next one we'll look at is the bass pattern. So we've got the fingered bass again on here. Just isolate that for you, let you listen to it. Sounds complicated, but it's not that complicated, to be honest. So the fingered bass. It's the positions on the sequencer is every odd position, so it's 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13 and 15 in measure 1 and measure 2. And the notes that I'm playing in there are, it starts on a G, so it starts on this G here. We're not shifting the octave, it's in the standard octave position. So we're starting on G, then up to D, then back to D again, so G, D, F, D, and then it jumps to D, A, C, and then it goes down to F, so just run through that again with you. So we're starting on G, difficult for me to talk and play at the same time, but again I'll write all this down in the notes, and the way that I would suggest you program this in is by selecting the position and playing the note. Let me just do it for you. Let me just see if we can do it for you. So we'll just erase the pattern and then we'll just put it in. It might be easier for you to follow it that way. So we're starting on position 1. So from G to D to F, back to D, and then we go to D, to C, back to A. So listen to it to start with. Maybe do it with let's do it with the step recorder, because it's a little bit too, can you hear this? It's a little bit too abrupt on that, so we'll do it with the step recorder. I think might sound a bit better on that. So step recorder, position 1, step recorder on. So we're starting on G. Use the keyhole to move it to the position number 3, and then press the D note, then move it on to 5, press the F note, then on to 7, press the D. I won't keep talking, I'll just watch it on the screen. So have a listen to it so far. So that sounds better, doesn't it? That with that sort of note, rather than it cutting off abruptly, it sort of blends into the next one. And then we go into measure number 2 and start the step recorder again, and we're going to start on going down to this F note down here. So press step recorder, press the F, key hold to C, E, and then the last note is the B there. So most of them follow the same pattern, but the very last note is a B note. So have a listen to it completely. Okay, so I think I've spent enough time on that. Again, it'll all be in the notes for you to follow. The next one, the next is the analog sound, and that's a lot easier, thank goodness. It's using the same analog tone as before. So just remember, when you finish programming this in, and this goes with the previous video as well, you write the program to memory, but then use that same copy that same one across to the next memory slot that you're going to work on, and it will copy all those tones and sounds into that next program position for you to use them again, rather than you trying to get all the tones sounding exactly the same again. Just copy the same sequence over, and then just erase the sequences that you've got in there that you don't want, and then just start programming the new ones in. Hope that makes sense. Right, so the analog tone sounds like this. So do it with the drums. So the analog tone, starting on a G, down to F, down to C, and I think anybody can play that. Not me even. So let's erase it and then we'll just record it in. Plastic creaking sounded like something was broken then. So that's the analog pattern there. The final one, the one that I think sounds the coolest, is this new sound that we're using. It's called Fat GR Lead, and it sounds like this. And guess what? It's using exactly the same notes as the bass. Obviously it's slightly different pitch. So exactly the same notes. So it's Fat GR lead, shifted up one octave and playing in the middle here. Exactly the same notes as the bass pattern, so I'm not going to go over that too much. I don't want to drag the video out too long. So put them all together. And then what I did with the extra keyboard, I just played that sort of sound on top of it. And that's just playing G, F and C. So rather than going down to that C there, I'm going up to that C there. And there's also some guitar in the background as well at that point, but again we won't go into the guitar too much. Okay, so that's that sequence. So we'll look at the next sequence, which is here, and we'll listen to that one. So luckily enough, if you save that one and then copy that complete pattern across, you won't have to do the drums again, because the drums are almost exactly the same. I say almost, there's just one slight difference. And the slight difference is in, check my notes, in in the second measure of this sequence, we've got this the closed hi-hat in measured number 2. We've just got an extra couple on the end there. We don't do 14, we just do 15 and 16. So if you remember, the other one was through to 14. This is 15 and 16. But again, I'll write it in the notes for you so that you can then copy it from those notes. So the analog sequence, let's look at that one. So this is playing very similar. So it's shifted down an octave. So it's playing G down to F to C. You can either shift it down another octave and play it up here if you want. With the drums. So the bass pattern this time is playing something slightly different. So in sequence number 1, measure number 1, we've got 1, 7, 9 and 15, and in measure number 2 we've got 1, 9, 11, 13 and 15. And what we're playing in this is we're starting so we're going from G to F to C to C B, doing that. Okay, so it's going from C, G to F to C, C B, C B, G to F to C, C B, G B, like that. What I'll do, I'll try and do it in like a grid pattern so that you can then follow it on there. Again, I would suggest maybe doing this with the step recorder and then step record it in like I did on the first one, so that you're changing the notes at these positions here. So we're starting on the G, which is going through to position 7 where it changes to the F, then we'd have another F, and then it goes up to the C, and the C carries on, and then we do this change here just there. So give that one a try, see how you get on with that, and then finally we've got this one here. So similar to the first one, but just say playing slightly different notes. So we're using the same positions again on the sequencer. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13 and 15 in measures 1 and 2. So we're going, so this time it's going from G to D to G. So G to D to F, sorry, G to D to G to F. Then it goes down to F. On top of that, if you can record it, you might like to play the guitar part in there. There's a guitar part which sound, and you do it with the pitch shift. So you go. See if I can just play it in. It'll sound a little bit weird, but you'll get the gist of it. Sounds a bit odd like that. Let's just take that sound out. And if you do try and record it on the sequencer instead of one of the other sounds, if you record it with the pitch wheel, it should actually record that in the sequence as well if you do it in real-time record. So that's that one. Again, with the, if you're going to add the extra keyboard in, instead of playing up here, you're playing down an octave. So it'll sound something like this. Oops, let's get that sound back again, how it should be. There we go. So all together, if we just play it off the recorder, just to let you hear it off there now, and we just go to the position. So that's what it would all sound like all together off the recorder. Okay, so that completes it, about the same length of time as the previous one. So let me say thank you very much to the people that watched this video and subscribed. I think we had 5 new subscribers on the from the last one, so it's very much appreciated. Thank you very much. And there's all the other new subscribers too. And yeah, don't forget, if you do like the stuff that I'm doing, you might like to subscribe. Always leave a comment, let me know what you think, good or bad. I'll be interested to know what you think, and it's always very much appreciated. Anyway, you take care, wish you all the best. And the reason why I've done this video a little bit sooner than the last one is that I'm going away on holiday next week. So I realised when I said last time that I would do it next week, I realised then afterwards I wouldn't be here, so we just put this one up a little bit earlier. Anyway, you take care and wish you all the best, and we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.